Here's something I wanted to cover because I actually found this to be really interesting and kind of shocking. So, we've talked about a major factor that causes a lot of movies to underperform, regardless of the genre. So, the primary example that I use is going back to 2011, I believe that was, and you had Scream 4 come out in the same month as a Medea movie, which was Medea's Big Happy Family. Then there was also a Fast and Furious film, the fifth one, and then you also had a Disney movie called Rio. So because this Scream film was up against those three, it people didn't go to the theaters to see that. We didn't have as many people go see that because Fast and Furious, Rio, and Medea were taking up, all the attention at the time. I don't know what other movies. I don't remember off top what all was real big at the time, but I do remember, according to Screen Rant and some other sources, that's why it underperformed. So, for example, you had the first three Scream movies that made between 160 and 170 million dollars at the box office. The fourth movie made just only 97 million. Now, of course, another factor to that is they waited so long to do it because it came out 11 years after the third movie, so they lost some of their base after that. But fast forward to now, you had a few movies that came out in June and July of 2025. So this I Know What You Did Last Summer, great film, by the way, to all my slasher fans. If you haven't seen it yet, you're missing out. Check it out. And so this movie came out around the same time as Fantastic Four, Superman, and Jurassic World. Now, I remember when it was announced, I remember thinking this back in like February or March. When I saw that, I said, oh no, this movie is probably going to lose money. Like, I'm not just talking underperformance. I'm talking my first prediction is they're probably not even going to make a dollar off this movie because I think that the box office number is going to be below the budget. Because come on, Jurassic World, Superman, Fantastic Four. I mean, those are huge names right there. Now, granted, to be fair, those movies also kind of somewhat underperformed in a sense because a lot of people didn't give them a chance because of like the new casting and things like that, and people felt that the Jurassic Park slash Jurassic World franchise is kind of losing its thrill, its excitement. I had seen all of them. I thought they all were pretty all right. People didn't give the new guy in Superman a chance. David Cornsweet, I believe, is his name. And then, of course, you had Vanessa Kirby and all the others, Pedro Pascal, Fantastic Four. All those movies ended up underperforming, ironically. But here's the thing that shocked me. The thing that shocked me was the fact that the budget on the film on this did last summer was 18 million. And right before these movies came out, I said they're gonna go beneath that. I said the box office is probably gonna be like 10 to 15 million. So the movie came out, a couple weeks go by, the movie makes like 25, 26, 28 million. I said, okay. I said, now that in and of itself is surprising. But I said, well, they're gonna be lucky if they hit 30 million. Then they hit 35 million, 40, 45, 50. And so now that the movie is completely done with its theatrical run, the movie has now grossed just over $64 million at the box office. And so to me and to many others, that was a shock. If I didn't know any better, I'd say the people who did the movie and the people who starred in the movie, they probably didn't realize that they were even going to get to that point, especially considering what they were up against. Now, if the movie had just came out, and let's say those other three weren't there and you just had a bunch of other average movies that a lot of the public doesn't know about, or, you're talking Weapons or Together and movies like that, Nobody Too, then the movie probably could have managed to somehow eke out 85 to 90 million or something like that, just under 100 million. So Screen Rant was talking about how the more money this movie makes, the higher their chance of having a sequel, which as of yet that's still not confirmed yet, but that's the thing that shocked me. I said, so they almost quadrupled their budget. It would have been quadruple if they hit 72 million. But that tells me right there that if I had to guess, I would say right now there's an almost half and half chance of there being a sequel to this movie. I still haven't seen any articles of it though, so I mean, I would guess right now it's probably like 40-45% chance of it happening, especially considering what we saw in the mid-credit scene. So that's kind of all I wanted to say right here. And I don't know, to all the people who saw the movie, especially to those of you who liked it, but even some of you who didn't like it, comment. Tell me what you think. Do you think there's going to be a sequel to this movie? And I've already given my review on the movie. I give it a 9 out of 10. There were some parts of the movie where I was like, yeah, maybe that could have been a little bit better, or maybe they could have gone a little bit of a different route in Act Three. The movie is still somewhat relatively new, so I'm not going to spoil it just yet. I know a lot of you probably have. There's already been videos out there of people spoiling it. So, um, but yeah, so that's really about that right there. So I don't know. You tell me what you think. Like and subscribe, and also if you have any suggestions for movies or shows you think I should check out and review, feel free to send it my way.